while we're on the politics front, I do want to play that Gavin Newsom soundbite for you, okay? He was on the Adam Friedland show. I'm not familiar, but I'm assuming it's a left-wing podcast. And he was asked a very simple question that any politician should be able to answer. Look at how that went, SOT 16.
What is your defined political project? Like what throughout your career and like right now? Like what is the thing you want to accomplish like politically?
I don't have like a brand. I don't have a tag, Make America Great, or I don't, the Great Society, or something like Medicare for all the billionaires. But for me, no bullshit. It's just standing up for ideals, striking out against injustice. It defines my why in every way, shape, form. Stand up for ideals, strike out against injustice. I'm a Sarge Shriver Democrat. I'm into that whole '60s, the vernacular of the '60s, solving for ignorance and poverty and disease, and the spirit of the '60s, and the spirit of King, and and how the nonviolent movement, and Gandhi, and Havel, and Mandela, that moral authority, that whole space. That's the zeitgeist. Yeah. And so that's me. That's my dad. That's my mom. That's the book, and that's my why.
So if you had to define it, like,
vote I need your help to define
and you get.
Well, you tell
X.
me. You're better at this.
I don't know. I don't know who you.
I just gave you my why, but how do you translate that into human?
What? So if you say, like, make an appeal to a voter, right? Say, if you vote for me, you get X. Yeah. Like, what in a kind of concise, tangible sense, talking to a regular guy?
Yeah, no.
What is that?
I've struggled with being able to communicate. I told you what my why is and why I'm here, and I mean that, and that's ingrained in every aspect of my life, and it connects the dots.
You do it. I don't know what your shit is. By Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and Sarge Shriver and Zeitgeist. I'm not good at this. Jesse.
Megyn,
it's not going well.
See, this is the thing. I can't put myself in the mind of a Democrat. I've tried before, the Democrat voter. I mean, I've tried before, and I guess if I thought like one, I would be one. I can't decide if Gavin Newsom is somebody who we should be afraid of, because this guy could easily win the White House, or if he just is too slick and too rehearsed and too just what you just played right there. It's like Gandhi, man. Is that really appealing to people? I mean, obviously, I find it to be so gross and stupid. And like, I mean, you're laughing. Me too. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm sorry. I was laughing over your clip. It's so hilarious and dumb. But oftentimes, Democrat voters like that kind of thing. I don't know what to say. To me, I look at this guy and I think he's failing to launch. I don't think he is taking off and he's going to be the nominee the way so many, myself included, thought he probably was maybe 6 months ago. I'm watching this podcast circuit and he comes off as too cute by half. He never says anything with the hand motions, and it's like Gandhi and King, man. It's just the he used the word zeitgeist. Who talks like this?
But you know who he reminds me of? Yeah. I've told this story before, but there was a woman that they hired at Fox News who shall remain nameless. Stunning, absolutely stunning, very, very beautiful woman. And she didn't have the reporting chops to be hired at Fox, but she was gorgeous. And she was on the air one time and she referred to Greg Jarrett, who she was introducing, and she was supposed to say, and it was in the prompter, defense attorney, like Fox News anchor and defense attorney, Greg Jarrett. And instead she said, Secretary of Defense, Greg Jarrett, which no, he isn't, and he never has been. And then a makeup artist once told me about a story about how she was getting ready in the makeup room one time, getting ready for a show, and was like overwhelmed with the amount of paper that they were bringing her to read. She's kind of in a panic. And my makeup artist was like, sweetheart, you give me those papers. We are putting those papers down. You don't look at those papers. You just go out there, you be you, you look great, and you charm everybody. And it was great advice. These, honestly, hair and makeup, they're a bunch of geniuses. They know. They're the best producers in the industry. And they knew, like, she wasn't ready for prime time. That's not why Fox hired her, by the way. She was there to read the prompter and not to do in-depth interviews or try to really provide smart analysis. Perfectly lovely person, by the way. And that's the vibe I get off of Gavin Newsom. Sweetheart, you give me those papers. You just keep saying zeitgeist. You went on the wrong podcast and your team should have better served you.
Well, one thing, I mean, there is something that I do know that applies to everybody, Democrats and Republicans. I understand politicians try to not really, they try to not have to take a position on anything. So you don't want to put something bad on camera. Your opponent, you don't want to turn people off. You don't want to put something bad on camera. Your opponent's going to run in commercials. I got that. I get the game. Everyone here listening gets the game. We all understand the way the game is played. At the same time, though, you have to give the people something that makes them inspired. You know, Donald Trump's actually a great example of this. You knew you were going to get deportations with Donald Trump. He never played anybody, never played any games with that. He stood up at every single rally. We're going to get mass deportations. We're going to get mass deportations. We're going to get mass deportations over and over and over and over again. He may have been a little wishy-washy on this issue or that issue, but every voter in the United States of America knew people were going to get deported if Donald Trump was elected. Everybody knew that whole thing. You have to take a stance on something, or nothing inspires people to go vote for you. You're not running on Zeitgeist and Gandhi and walking into the White House. It's not going to happen because your opponent's going to probably be J.D. Vance, and he's going to be standing up there talking about manufacturing jobs and deporting foreigners and things like that. And you're going to be, hey, Gandhi, man. And it's just not going to work.
Oh, my God. It's so great. I mean, it's lovely to see these previews of how things are going to go for us over the next couple of years. That's why it's interesting to watch. Here's a little bit more on his book tour. And this is the best one. This is the best. He sits down with Katie Couric. And this, I mentioned at the top of the show, and she used to be one of our most respected journalists in America. She was the anchor of the CBS Evening News back when that mattered for 5 years. She was the darling of the Today Show. And things have changed. Here she is across from Gavin on Thursday.
Do you have a Zoolander problem?
No, Jesus. Yeah, Zoolander.
Are you just ridiculously good looking, as Vogue said?
Hardly.
No, seriously, what do you do about that?
You don't do anything about it, because if you're going to do something about it, then you're bullshitting people. You know what? I am who I am. And it's fine. You don't have to like me. Or maybe you like a slick person. I don't know. Whatever. It's okay.
But the reason why I brought it up because you talked about being authentic, and I think it sometimes works against you.
Yeah, it's just who I am. It's just who I am.
It's who he is, Jesse. He's just too good, ridiculously good looking. Maybe he's stumbled upon his slogan. Maybe that could be the thing that is his what you want to accomplish, your defined political project. Too good looking to run.
He did, he did the job interview thing, Megyn, where the boss asks you when you're trying to get the job, tell me something negative about you, and you're like, I just care too much. I work too hard. maybe that's the thing. But and you know what's wild, Megyn? Think about this. He's doing the commie podcast circuit now, where he could be more frank about things, because this is a long race. It's a couple of years until 2028. Now is the time where you could be frank about this or that, or whatever your policy positions, whatever you're going for. And even now, you can't drill the guy down on anything whatsoever. I don't understand the strategy. I don't see how it works.
You tell me, because I feel like any normal man would know how to answer that question, which is you should be self-deprecating. You should say something modest about yourself to make yourself not seem like an arrogant, vain prick, which is how a lot of people view him. But instead, he went with, it's just who I am. Not it. I'm just going to, how would Jesse Kelly? Well, Jesse Kelly compliments himself jokingly all the time, but this is part of your shtick. This is not a part of a Gavin Newsom shtick. How would you have advised Gavin Newsom to answer that question?
I would advise Gavin Newsom that he's not going to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin if the normal guy who's not a Republican, he's not a Democrat, he's just a normal dude, watches football on Saturday. If normal guy can't relate to you at all and doesn't find you appealing at all, you have no chance whatsoever. Donald Trump throwing on a hard hat or a McDonald's apron and handing out fries, these may be a bit ham-fisted political stunts, but they made normies, normal people in critical swing states feel like, okay, at least he cares enough to pretend to be a little bit like me. Gavin Newsom is going to have to drop the hair gel He's going to have to drop this slick California style, and he's going to have to spend a lot of time in the Midwest. And look, I love being in California too. The weather's beautiful, the food is great, but you're going to have to leave, and you're going to have to spend some time in Iowa and get dirtied up a little bit. I'll put it that way.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. Okay, $20,000 got you 33 ounces. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth about $165,000. That would have been a very good investment. And that's why so many smart Americans do diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. They're thinking about what's going to happen in the next 20 years. And it's also why you should consider buying gold from Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, gold has been a store of wealth. And today, it is a crucial part of any balanced strategy. Even better, Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered retirement account in gold. All you have to do is text MK to the number 989898, and that will give you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation. It's just useful information from which you can make a decision. With an A+ rating, with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Again, text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.